Hey guys, it's Hannah and this is Bookworms Talk, and today I'm going to tell you what my monthly movie favorites are, slash all the movies that I've seen throughout the entire month. And this last month was Oscars month, which means I tried to see as many movies in theaters as I possibly could, and I saw a great majority of them, so I'm actually going to first start off with Oscar ones. I saw La La Land, which, spoiler alert, was my favorite of the Oscar nominees that I saw. Again, saw most of them. But I just felt like it was a modern classic is the way that I feel best describes it. It felt a lot like Singing in the Rain, though I have a very small memory of Singing in the Rain. I haven't seen that movie since I was a child. Fun fact, apparently, my mother's story, I don't remember this. I used to do modeling when I was little, so I guess I was a cute kid. I mean, I was a cute kid. Who am I kidding? I was a cute kid. But my dad was a pilot at the time, or it was before 9/11, so I think he was just in the cockpit. Anyway, beside the point. But we were going back and forth or something from California, I forget exactly, and I think it was Gene Kelly that she said was on the plane, and he said that I was a cute kid. I was like probably two or three, so Singing in the Rain factoid, I guess. Anyway, back to La La Land. I felt like from a technical standpoint the movie was really beautifully directed, because it felt like the camera danced with the actors that were dancing, and oh my god, the cinematography was so beautiful. I loved it. I loved the score. I own the score. I own the soundtrack. Like literally that night that I got home from seeing it, I felt so inspired, and oh my god, I was so obsessed. I'm still so obsessed, but like it was a sickness in the beginning. I did nothing but listen to the soundtrack and the score, which was so beautifully done. I think he got those Oscars well deserved. Justin Hurts. But yeah, it was my favorite of all the Oscar movies because, God, of so many reasons, but I don't really want to weigh this video down because I feel like everyone's seen this movie and talked about it already. But I'm taking a lot of film classes right now, and we're studying a lot of directing, a lot of camera shots and framing and this and that and the other, and so I'm not going to weigh this video down in a bunch of terminology. But from a technical standpoint, I felt like out of the nominees, it was the one that wowed me the most from technical standpoint and from like audience enjoyability standpoint as well. So I personally think that it should have won for Best Picture, but politically I think it was great that Moonlight won, but I feel like La La Land deserved it more, but I'm still like, go Moonlight, you know? It's weird. Anyway, I saw Moonlight also. I'll go ahead and talk about that now since I kind of rounded that up in this. The story felt familiar to me because I saw this movie called La Missions. It's Spanish, and I think I'm saying it in a French way, but it's La Missions, Englishize it. It has Benjamin Bratt in it, and the story felt very similar. In La Missions, it was a Hispanic family, a father and son. Father was a single father. In Moonlight, it was a black family with a young black boy and a single mother. They both were gay. They both were bullied when they were growing up. They both felt like they couldn't fit in their particular kind of local society and society in general, I guess. A lot of the same struggles happened. It was just kind of like with parent reversal roles and then cultural reversal roles a little bit. But anyway, the movies felt very similar to me, and Moonlight felt like the artsier version of La Missions, but I felt like the story for La Missions made more sense. I appreciate what almost happened with the cinematography in Moonlight. I liked the play with the blue lights. I felt like that was a great line that the old woman said. Like, I just appreciate where it went, but I hated the directing so much. I felt dizzied by it. I wasn't a fan of it, and I also feel like there was no good stuff at the ends. Like, where's the action? Not like pow pow action, I mean like action. Anyway, I'm gonna move on to the next one. Lion, which is another hit for me. I sobbed the whole time in that movie. It's about this boy from India who was separated from his brother, and he ended up elsewhere in Bengal, I believe, and they don't speak the same language, and he was lost. And I mean, he's like, oh, I want to say like 4 years old. Oh my god, I have chills thinking about it. The little boy that played him, Sonny is his name. Such a good little actor. Like, oh god, his eyes. I love that movie. I cried the whole movie. I cried. But it's about this boy's struggles in the streets, and eventually he gets adopted to a family in Australia. And then time kind of passes quickly, and then he gets to this point in his life where he wants to try to find his family because he knows that his brother must have been looking for him, and he's like living with this guilt of losing his brother. And God, I have full body chills telling this, but so much of the movie is him as a little boy, and there's not very much dialogue. It's a really visually beautiful movie. It looks at the dirty underside of a lot of things, and it has a great social commentary to it as well. Like, it was a beautiful movie. God, it was so good. I loved that. That was my second favorite. I saw Hacksaw Ridge. I would not have seen it if I knew it was Mel Gibson because I don't like supporting that fucker. I don't like him. It was alright. I hate war movies. It was just one of those movies that was played in like one of the marathon days, but I hate war movies because I hate war. It was very loud, as all war movies are. The story was fine. Acting was fine. I'm not a big fan of Andrew Garfield, so it was kind of like, I mean, he's not as bad as like my dislike for Tobey Maguire, but it was okay. That's about it. Hidden Figures was on that day, but we had already seen it from a weekend before, so we left early. I talked about that in another favorite. I really loved that movie. What else? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh my god, Arrival. That's the one. I am someone who loves aliens. I completely believe in them. Probably not how Hollywood's painted them to be, but like, I 100% believe that there's other life out there. It's just unrealistic to not think there is. Anyway, I thought Arrival was a really good movie. I don't understand why it was nominated for Oscars. Like, I don't get it. I thought it was great. It was really entertaining. I just don't know how it got into the Oscars category. That aside, I thought the concept was really interesting. I loved the play, not spoiling, but I liked the play on time. I will say that much because that's kind of spoilery. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that short because there's a little bit of a mystery in that movie. I do think it's definitely worth a watch. I know it's out on DVD now, so you can go and, you know, snag it there. So yeah, those are all the Oscar movies that I saw. I really, really, really want to see Hell or High Water still. And I actually have Manchester by the Sea, the, what's it called? The screenplay for one of my classes. I managed to snag that, so I can just read it like a book instead. I'm going to talk very quickly about my next favorite just to kind of move on from the movies. I watched a documentary on Netflix called The Last Man on the Moon. It's about Eugene, I can't remember his last name. It starts with a C. I always had a hard time pronouncing it, but it's Eugene. He went by Gene. He was the last man on the moon. And it was just kind of like his story from before he went to NASA and his experience while he was there and the people that he worked with and a lot of the people that died when they were in these kind of like testing out machinery and stuff and planes, and everything was very experimental and it was dangerous, and it was just kind of his story, and it was really interesting. I watched it on a whim because I just ran out of space documentaries, and so I'm like, sure, let's try this. And it was actually very, very good. I also saw a couple movies. They were German movies. Let me know if you're interested in me talking about those. I'm taking a German cinema class and a history of cinema class, so I'm watching a lot of older movies. Speaking of which, I'm actually going to mention one that was a favorite called His Girl Friday. It was so fast-paced and fun and just like very Spitfire. Like if you know Aaron Sorkin, something like that. He did The Social Network, which is like super fast-paced dialogue. It was a lot like that, but it was more humorous. It was like a newspaper kind of thing. It was so fun. If you can get your hands on it, totally recommend watching that. Like I was saying before I got off on my tangent, if you're interested in hearing about some of the German movies that I am watching, let me know, but like I don't know if you're interested, so I'm just going to kind of skip over that for right now. I also watched this documentary called Secrets of the Solar System. If you're a space junkie like me, Secrets of the Solar System is a winner. Now I'm going to quickly zoom over my TV Netflix favorites. The Americans, I started watching. It's only on Amazon Prime. That's about the only place I can find it, at least. And I love it. The addiction is so strong. I talked about it in my regular monthly favorite, so I'm not really going to go on about it here, but really, really big favorite. It's about Russian spies in America back in the early 80s. And it's so good. I also started to catch up a little bit on Black Mirror. Black Mirror is really dark. It's about the future and these different possibilities, and they're all kind of capsule episodes that don't really have anything to do with the other. About these two women who meet in I forget the place. They meet back in the 80s and they kind of fall in love with each other, and then they're separated for like weeks at a time, and then they go back and they try to meet each other again once a week. Or at least it's kind of more one-sided than the other. And it's just like this really beautiful romantic episode, but it's also has this element of tragedy once you kind of figure out a secret in the episode. Anyway, that was my favorite one of the new batch. I think I have 2 more to watch though, but that was such an amazing episode. I cried a lot. Top 10 secrets and mysteries. Okay, if you like conspiracy theories and like kind of outlandish stuff like that, this is on Netflix. Freaking watch it. It was so entertaining. I binged it all in one afternoon. I don't feel like there are that many episodes, like maybe 10, and I feel like they're 30-minute episodes a piece. But that is about it. I think that's all the movies that I intended to mention. If you guys enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.